All right, so I was scrolling around on good old-fashioned Evike, and I stumbled across this listing right here for the 6mm Pro Shop Daniel Defense Mark 18 rigmarole electric boogaloo. You know all the jizz. The thing that threw me off was the price, because GBBRs are generally pretty high. So I went around searching to see if I could find any reviews on this gun, and apparently there's not a lot. So I asked in quite possibly the worst possible place I could have what people thought of that gun and that company as a whole. And, well, needless to say, the reactions weren't the best. However, airsoft is...
What the fuck are you guys doing? Don't fucking touch my gun again!
Toxic? Full of a bunch of crybabies? There are some people out there that are really nice, and the majority of people that I've met playing this sport are nice people. I wouldn't say anything bad about airsoft. If you're thinking of trying it, go for it. Is this gun the sauce? Kind of. Out of the box, it's not exactly the best gun you could get, but with some tuning and a little bit of elbow grease, I think it would make a pretty good start. Taking a closer look here, I will be the first one to say this. This is a very handsome gun. Very realistic. The weight is nice, the feel is nice, but there are a couple drawbacks. This stock is incredibly cheap and plastic feeling. This does not feel like injection molded polymer at all. This feels like just cheap plastic. The good news is that's replaceable, and thankfully real steel stocks actually do fit on this model, so I will probably be upgrading that at one point. It is very loud and obnoxious and very rattly, and just, I dislike it. But then again, this gun is a budget one, so I will give it that. This screw right here on the handguard was loose when I initially got this gun, so I did have to tighten that up. For the price that you're paying, that's about what I would expect. However, I'll give it some cool points here. This is a very realistic model. The bolt and the charging handle have a very satisfying sound to them when they are racked.
Nice.
It feels and looks and sounds pretty real. The orange tip does come off. You need to remove that set screw right there. Probably heat it up with a heat gun as well. I'm sure there's some glue in there, and then wrench it off. And it is, I'm assuming at least, counter-threaded, so lefty would be tighty and righty would be loosey. I know, it's kind of dumb. Also, the front sight here, I've seen people having problems with it, trying to flip it up. The back is obnoxiously long and inset of the actual sight, and it's a very stiff sight as well, so people do have a little bit of trouble getting that one up. These sights are not the best in quality, to say the least, but I can't imagine anyone using the stock sights on this gun when they get it. When the front sight is down, it does rattle. So that paired with the rattly cheap stock makes the gun obnoxiously loud whenever you shake it. So there is that. That's just my only bit of criticism with this gun though. What I will say is that it shoots pretty nicely. I would say that this is a pretty good budget start for GBBRs. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing high end, but it'll totally work. And if you're some kid who's trying to get into GBBRs, I think this is a great place to start. It just needs a little bit of work. A cool little detail that I like is that the safety will not engage unless the hammer is cocked, just like the real thing. To crack this baby open and take a good look at the inside, I have pushed out that pin right there with a wooden stick so that it doesn't scratch the paint, and inside, pretty cool. This is a very realistic setup for the inside of a gas blowback rifle. The only things that don't really look the same, see those two rollers right there, that is not there on the real thing. I will put up a picture right here of what a real hammer looks like. Let's take a look at the bolt assembly here. And yeah, extremely accurate to the real thing, good God. Here's the charging handle right here. It actually looks really nice. There's the latch Not much going on for it, but it does look very realistic. The bolt assembly looks very realistic. I am very impressed with how this looks. It's the nozzle right there. That's where the gas projects the BB. That's where the mag meets up with it. Right there, that gasket lines up with that. And that's what pushes the BB out into the barrel. That's where they meet up. There is also a dummy little firing pin right there. I'm pretty sure that doesn't affect the actual gun itself, but that's pretty cool. That's where the firing pin would be in the real bolt carrier. Very cool internals on this gun. And I will say the machining quality, casting quality, it's all very nice. Very well put together gun, at least on the inside. And it goes together just like the real thing too. So this is the charging handle and bolt assembly. We're going to put that in there and push the two halves together, the upper and the lower. And then from this side, push that pin back in. They're nice and aligned, and there you go. Back together, good as new. Everything's cycling, good. Ready to rock and roll as soon as you put a mag in. There you go. In all honesty, the mag that it comes with is not that impressive. It does have a polymer outer. This is polymer, and then I can feel even just the weight. There is a metal, I guess, casing on the inside, which makes sense. Nice rubber gasket up here. Once again, mold quality, pretty decent. Doesn't feel that bad. Doesn't feel that cheap. So, with all that out of the way, how many stars would I give this gun? Solid 4 out of 5. Listen, this thing is nothing crazy. It's not blowing my skirt up, but for a beginner who's trying to get into gas blowback rifles, I think this is a wonderful place to start. Just make sure that you do take care of it. Make sure that you keep the internals clean and well lubricated as well. Probably don't use the iron sights or the stock that's on it. However, and I can't stress this enough, time will tell with this gun. I will take it out to fields and play with it and see how well it does. If it holds up, that's great. I'll probably do a update a year from now on the condition that the gun is in and what attachments and modifications that I've done to it. But yeah, all in all, not that bad.